rolling. Please introduce yourself, your organization in the chat. Please put your contact information in there. If you have any needs or issues or concerns, please feel free to put those in there as well. And then Daisy, did you want to say something before we throw it over to Dominique and Jessica?
Uh, Not necessarily, but just thank you everybody for being here. I'm a little bit further south, so I'm starting to see the winds picking up and some more rain on my side. So I'm sure it's gonna start picking up a little bit more, but hopefully everybody's safe and we can get anybody to shelter if needed. So thank you for being here, and I'll see what other updates we have.
Thank you, Daisy. Dominique, do you want to kick us off for our updates?
Greeting, yes. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. It is Wednesday. So I'm still been over here at Largo. I've been working with a lot of you all to shore up those evacuations. To date, all the planned evacuations were completed yesterday. I also wanted to mention, I think it was decided right after our 1 o'clock call that Turning Point did decide to shelter at their other location, the Davis Bradley building in South St. Pete. So they did combine those two programs, which they do with these larger events. We are still in conversation with St. Vincent de Paul, or ready to have conversations with St. Vincent de Paul, as we address some of the other needs and concerns that maybe we may be discussing through this conversation today as well. But at this point, we really are getting ready for that to really dig our heels in and hold out through the night and see how it goes tomorrow. Any questions? Or actually, before questions, I think it would be more relevant for us to get that storm update from Jessica and then kind of do our questions together. Hey, Jessica, you're having your microphone's gotten feedback issues.
Is that any better for everyone?
That is much better.
Okay, sorry about that. So we're down to the wire, right? This is kind of the time where we'll start to see impacts. I haven't seen outside or the sun in a few days, so I imagine it's raining just based on folks coming in. But at the current time, Hurricane Milton is a Category 4 with winds at 145 miles per hour. Landfall is anticipated sometime this evening. So we're going to start to see the tropical storm force winds beginning around 4 p.m. this evening, Wednesday, lasting through 9 a.m. Thursday. Our hurricane force winds, which are the stronger winds, of course, will begin around 12 a.m., lasting to about 6 a.m. Remember, we are seeing a couple of different wiggles as each advisory comes out. I don't want anyone to get stuck on what wiggled south. That means we're out of the clear, or we're not in the cone. Those little wiggles do have an impact on the surge we're going to receive, but I think the urgent message is we will still have significant impacts here in Pinellas County, even with a slight wiggle north or south. At this point, the really big concern is the amount of rainfall. It forecasted 6 to 12 inches, 18 inches in some areas. I was talking to our floodplain manager here. This is a 200-year storm as far as the massive amount of water that's going to be dropped in a very short period of time. So significant inland flooding, significant risk for flash flood. The other concern is, and we're already seeing this in some of our counties outside of Pinellas, is some stronger tornadic activity than we traditionally see with a hurricane of this demeanor. So we're under hurricane watch, but we just want to be very aware of that the risk is much higher than we have traditionally seen with some of our other hurricanes. The surge has been decreased a little bit, although 8 to 12 feet certainly isn't anything to say it's decreased. It's still a significant amount of surge, much higher again than we saw last storm. The height peak of surge should be around 4 a.m. So we'll see that throughout the evening. It's tricky, right, with these night storms. That's when most people are off guard, but landfall somewhere around 2 to 3 a.m. Again, that will probably change or adjust just a little bit. I just, again, want to emphasize we're not focusing on the track. We're not focusing on the cone. We still will have significant impacts regardless of where landfall occurs with this system. Significant widespread long-term power outages, again, inland flash flooding, significant wind for our entire county. What I encourage folks to do once you are safe, once we've kind of buckled down, right, and we kind of wait it out to see what it looks like, is we really need everyone on this call and our community to be forward thinking as far as what does the backside of this look like, what impacts may look like, both to your facilities, for your clients, and how can we be forward thinking and helping to meet some of those needs. I think we're going to have to get really creative with some of our partners, some of the impacts on finding solutions, because the resources aren't going to be as available as maybe we've traditionally seen in the past with everything being so stretched. So now's the time to start thinking through those things, how we can support you, how you can support each other. And I guess the next update will be when we're on the backside of this, but I am happy to take any questions.
Hey, everybody, do we have any storm questions for Jessica in Pinellas County while we have them here? This is the time.
Hey, Victoria, I just wanted to add really quickly, just as an overview. So we have right around 10,000 people in shelter right now. We have all of our human services staff are either managing shelters and in shelters. It's going pretty well. We just hit 10,000. So we are being as flexible as possible. So pet-friendly shelters are pretty full. So we are now allowing other schools to take in pets. So I don't want that to be a barrier for people. We hope that they would bring in a pet carrier, but if not, we're trying to make that work. So if you are continuing to message people and they're having concerns about their pets, they need to get to the closest shelter, and we will make it work for pets. So, all of those kind of restrictions where pet friendly are only in the big three, that has been lifted because we really want people to get into a safe spot.
That is really good information, Karen. Thank you very much. I know that special needs shelters are a constant question for folks. So can somebody please address special needs shelters, what you might need to do to get into one of those, and can you bring your pets?
Sure, yeah. So special needs shelters, as you can imagine, are very busy. And so there is sort of a triage system. What we're looking for as far as people who qualify for a special needs shelter, just on kind of some high level things. Are they oxygen dependent, electric dependent, refrigerated medications, etc.? Are there mobility challenges? Can they use the restroom on their own? Can they get up and off of the floor? Things to that extent. We do ask if folks do need and do qualify for special needs, if they have a caregiver, especially for some of those more complicated, bring your caregiver with you. The services will be very limited. And again, as I mentioned, those shelters are incredibly busy. And so it's staffed by Department of Health folks and some state resources. But I just want to let people know that I think it's really important we triage. If you have folks that you're not sure if they qualify, maybe, with some unique situations, here at the desk, we have Department of Health, Dr. Cho sits on the other side. We can help talk through some of those. We want to make sure we have people at the appropriate place, the right place, so that we can give them the best care for whatever their condition may be. There's no need to pre-register at this point. If someone presents at a special needs shelter, they will be admitted in.
It's super valuable information. Thank you very much, Jessica. I also want to address, there was a question in the chat that Karen answered. The question was, is there a limit on the amount of pets that you could bring to the shelter? What about birds or other cage animals? We had somebody ask. Karen says, there is no limit. We prefer they have a cage or a carrier. We have chickens, birds, and snakes. So don't let your pet be the reason you don't go to shelter, folks. And don't let the pet be the reason that your clients don't go to shelter. Could somebody from the county please address transportation? Because I know that is, of course, getting more limited. The shuttles have ended. So what transportation options are there for folks to get to shelter still?
So I believe PSDA has pulled buses right as winds stop. Most transportation assistance has been pulled. I have heard Uber may still be running, but again, that's of course dependent on drivers. I would advise that now's the time. We're going to be running out of time as the winds start to pick up. If you have a specific case where maybe it's an urgent need, we can try to work it on this side of the desk, but certainly no guarantees, as we're pretty much down to the wire with our options.
Thank you very much. There was also a question in the chat, when are shelters closing? And Karen said the shelters do not close. We will accept at any time. To kind of add on to that question, could you please address when transportation to the shelters might end? I know some bridges have closed. Are streets going to close down, or will people be able to get to the shelters anytime throughout the day?
Sure. So, like as I mentioned, transportation to the shelters that is running, PSTA is done running. So we're pretty much out of options on a case-by-case basis. We could potentially work it, but again, I think we're going to be very limited. As far as street closures, et cetera, that's really determined by municipalities and safety of the roads. I do know the Skyway is closing or closed at 11:30. We anticipate we'll lose the Gandy, the Courtney Campbell, and the Howard Franklin. As soon as those winds pick up, I don't have a time for those, but we're going to be real limited in movement, especially with hurricane force winds. So as streets are not safe, I imagine law enforcement will start to close those, especially also with the widespread power outages. That means, traffic signals are going to be out. So it's going to be very hazardous and dangerous out there. We surely want people to get where they need to go now before conditions get worse and it's just not safe.
Excellent. Thank you very, very much, Jessica. Are there other questions for Jessica, Karen, Dominique, the county while they are here with us? Do we anticipate shelters to stay open Thursday and Friday?
Sure. So that's a great question. Part of the decision to determine when shelters close is really based on assessments, right? We have to get crews out there to assess the safety of our community. The other factor that goes into that is power outages, right? So we certainly don't want to send folks back, especially our most vulnerable who may be electric dependent home if they don't have electricity to their houses. I would anticipate, based on just the forecast, we're going to see power outages extend for quite a while. And so we'll have to kind of analyze that as a day-by-day basis as far as when shelters may close, how we consolidate shelters, where step-down shelters may be located. This is a different storm than really any of us here in Pinellas County have ever experienced as far as the significance and the impacts. So I think we're going to have to, again, go kind of day by day on what the needs are and what resources are available to us and really what it looks like on the backside.
Thank you. There was also a question in the chat. Any idea when bridges will reopen or not yet?
Yep, bridges are closed based on wind speed. So we'll have to kind of get over that hump of when the winds lessen up, and then they have to send in state inspectors to ensure the safety of all of the bridges before they can reopen. So I would imagine with this event, it will take a little bit of time for that to happen.
Thank you.
Jessica, I have a question. Do you know if any sheriffs are going around the areas just to ensure that there isn't anybody on the streets? What does that look like? Is that happening now, or is it going to stop at some point?
So the past few days, I know sheriff fire have been out in communities with their loud horns and their sirens saying now is the time to get out. I would imagine that's probably pretty close to wrapping up, as it's unsafe for them to be out, and we want to get people where they need to go. So that has been going on for a few days. The public messaging had been canvassing with flyers in communities, specifically those barrier islands and some of our most vulnerable neighborhoods, to get folks information of where to go, and now's the time to go.
Thank you.
Great question. Any other questions or concerns for the county while we have them here?
I'll just mention that this is Jennifer from Alpha House, that I am actually sheltering at Alpha. I guess I'm going down like the captain goes down with the ship. So but I've taken like 7 calls of street homeless asking just in desperation for a place to stay. So I'm directing them accordingly to what area they're in, but there's still individuals that seemed kind of not in the know. I don't know if they're not watching the news or whatever, what not, but there's definitely people that are still needing to get to shelters.
Thank you, Jessica or Jennifer. Please, first of all, be safe there at Alpha House. First and foremost, please be safe. Secondly, that is very good information. Thank you for directing folks to shelter. We will make sure that we share that shelter list again on social media. And then please, everybody, if you can, if you haven't already and you have the capacity, send the shelter information out to your contact list. And make sure that folks know that they can get there, that options are available. Thank you, Jennifer.
And if I could just add one more thing, I mentioned the power outages. There's a high possibility we lose communication options. So I would recommend we keep this call for tomorrow, but understand that we may not be able to connect with each other and provide information. So I just kind of want people to anticipate what it could again look like on the backside, that comms could be down for a couple of days as well.
Jessica, with the communication piece, is there any specific, I know sometimes there's applications that are kind of used like a walkie-talkie type of thing. Is there something that Pinellas County is using or that would recommend at least families and friends to use? Sorry, we can't hear you.
Oh. I think I've talked too much. It's starting to go out on me. Can you hear me now? Yep. Yeah, there's no official recommendations as far as apps. I know different people have had different success. It's really dependent on, which apps don't lose connectivity or what towers go down. I do want to also add one thing, and I know this is a question that comes up as far as losing communications with our emergency shelters. We do have ham radio operators who are at each site, and those radio operators will not lose connectivity to the emergency operations center. So even if everything else goes down, we're able to communicate directly with our shelters so that if something is happening, they have a lifeline up to us here.
Thank you.
It sounded like there might have been another question around that same time. If so, please feel free to come off mute. No? Okay. Any other questions, comments, concerns for Pinellas County? Okay. Not hearing any. Dominique, did you have some things you wanted to go through, or shall we start asking everybody, doing a call down?
Nope, I'll let you take it from here. Thanks, everyone. I'm still on, but thank you.
Thank you, Dominique. All right. In that case, I'm going to go down the list here and see who we have on. Blossom, do you mind telling us how things are going at the VA? Blossom, I can see that you're off mute, but I cannot hear you.
She may be having connection issues. I don't know. I don't think she's on anymore.
Okay,
yeah, she is.
Blossom, Blossom, please feel free to type in the chat. And then while you are doing that, next down the list, let's see. Can we find out, we've talked about Alpha House. Kevin, how are things going at Boley?
Sorry, was muted. Good afternoon, everyone. We're doing well at Boley. We got our all of our residential facilities consolidated because 3 are in evac zones and 3 are not. So that went smoothly. We're at max capacity there. And yesterday we spent the entire day knocking on every apartment door in level A, B, and C. And I think we're quite successful reconvincing people that were not wanting to leave and got them into shelter. So I feel much better today than I felt yesterday, and my team did a great job with that, and I think we're going to have a much better outcome as a result. Otherwise, we're just going to get through it and be ready tomorrow to deal with whatever we have in front of us.
Awesome. Kevin, way to go. Convincing folks who were maybe on the fence to seek shelter. That is such a valuable thing. So thank you to you and your team for that. I also want to share Blossom did type an update in the chat for the VA. Blossom says that the VA is evacuated. All clinics are closed through Monday, possibly through Tuesday. And Blossom is still available if folks need her or need assistance from the VA. John, would you mind telling us how things are going at St. Vinny's?
Oh, hey, how you doing? Just to let you know, I have a team of approximately 8 to 10 that are staying in the shelter and for the whole period of time. Everything is locked down, and they've battened the hatches. And hold on one second, please. Sorry about that. My guests here didn't realize I was on. I'm at home, and anyway, so they're taking care of everything in the shelter. They're doing a tremendous job. They're staying there for the whole duration. We have everything cleared out. We're still doing, while we can, we're still doing rounds around the building and trying to get any people who are still lingering around, trying to get them to go to shelter. I think we have about 4 or 6 people that are still deciding that they want to ride this out and everything else, but we're doing everything we can to keep them to try to get them to go to shelter. Other than that, let's just everybody start blowing south and just hope that it keeps on going south. If it's all we can do is just hope, prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
That's exactly right. Thank you, John, to you and your team. Again, beating that drum, telling people to find shelter urgently is so valuable, so important. Thank you very much for doing that. Let's see. Do we have other organizational partners on this call right now? Oh, perfect. Yvonne from PIMS is here. Could you please give us an update from PIMS if you have one?
Well, hold on one second. The update that I have is, well, Largo is closed, Conway is closed. Our main campus, they moved everybody, so they evacuated, and we're all working from homes. Those who evacuated, some of us took PTO, others are just working from home, but had to evacuate, such as myself. But the main campus is closed. They took everybody out to safety, and they'll resume as soon as they can. And Palmway is closed, like I said.
Thank you very much for that update, and thank you for staying safe. That's really important. We can only help people if we make sure that we are safe as well.
That's right.
Awesome. We also have Steve from West Care on the line.
Hi, everybody. West Care, Gulf Coast, we have actually moved everybody from our Turning Point facility to our Davis Bradley residential facility. And we've also moved some of our Mustard Seed residents to Davis Bradley also. We have about 25 people that we've moved to a local shelter until the storm passes. But for the most part, we have families. The majority of our residents are all at our Davis Bradley location. We are all good, and really hoping for the best for everybody, wanting everybody to stay safe. And this can't get through quick enough. I actually live in Parish, and it's just now starting to get pretty blustery and windy up this way. So that's what's going on with us. We are just hunkered down and hoping for the best also.
Thank you for that update, Steve. Please stay safe. You are not the only person on this call actually in Parish right now. So to you and to our colleagues who are there and in that southern part, please be safe. Please take care of yourselves.
Thanks so much, and thanks everybody.
Thank you. Do we have any other providers on the line that would like to give an update? Not hearing or seeing any. Do we have any of our municipal partners who would like to give an update? Not hearing or seeing any. Dominique, have you happened to receive an update from Lieutenant Heish? I know that they have evacuated Safe Harbor. Is there anything else going on that folks should be aware of?
Not as it relates to Safe Harbor. So they did evacuate yesterday morning. And then they also had staff on site as if people were presenting and shuttling them over. So I'll be honest, I do not know if that's still happening, if walk-ups are still happening and being transported. But they have done above and beyond what they always do with these storms, and gotten their people to safety and those that are walking in. So they have their hands full. So they also are on site at the shelter that they go to support that, as many of our homeless shelters do, provide support at the hurricane shelters.
Excellent. Thank you for that update, Dominique. Are there other updates? We do have Jessica Lance from St. Anthony's Hospital Case Management says that she has nothing to share, but has been joining the call and finds the information helpful. Thank you very much, Jessica. Thank you for what you do over at St. Anthony's. Our healthcare partners are a huge part of what we do. So thank you for being here. Do we have any other updates, concerns, or needs?
Victoria's a fan of the long pause, but I think the pause is, she's like, let's let it sit. But I will just say again, I've said it every day, and it's not to take away from the matter of that you guys are doing incredible work, and I'm so grateful for having all of you as partners in our community. And you know, the next 24 hours is the time. So make sure that you guys are safe, your family is safe. As we keep moving forward through this. The plan right now is to meet at 1 tomorrow. Some of us may not be able to, based off of where we are and the conditions. So just know that, reach out to those. You take care of yourself. Now's the time to do so. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dominique. I know Steve was saying earlier over here in Parish, the winds are definitely picking up a lot more. We can hear the water, so the rain, so it's starting to pick up, but I'll try to keep everybody informed as much as possible if there's anything, that's dramatically changing here. We're still here with our team. Thank you so much, Victoria and Megan, Dominique, and everybody from the county. We'll try to keep as much information coming to you as possible. Stay safe, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you all. Be safe. Be well.